ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादिपाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so last time we were discussing about Mathura and Dwaraka, and we were discussing about the commentary of Mukunda on.
Sorry to interrupt you, but last week we had some confusion about Madura and Dwaraka and that portion
Yes,
of it.
yes,
Did
yes,
you check, Prabhuji? You said you will check on this.
yes, yes, yes. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
mentioning it. So we had some questions about the different scriptures speaking about different thing, and Mukunda was also talking about Mathura, and within the Mathura, then you have Gokula and the city of Mathura, and then you have Goloka, and then there is Dwaraka, and then there is where are these things located, and where is Navadip is also located. That's another interesting thing, right? So all of these things should be there in the spiritual world also. So before looking into the commentary of, we will read the commentary of Mukunda one more time, and then we will also read the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on the same Bhakti Rasāmṛta Sindhu in a later, 303, verse number 303. Now we are in verse number 235 to 237. But in verse 303, he also talks about this point, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So we'll look at that as well. So there are, many places things are being discussed, but very conclusively and more clearly, we have description of these different things here in Mukunda's commentary, who is actually quoting Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will later be talking about that. So we have a planet there called Vaikunta in the spiritual world. So the Vaikunta realm. So we have the material world, and above the material world we have Brahma Jyoti, and above Brahma Jyoti we have the Vaikunta planets. So within the Vaikunta planets there are different realms of the Lord, and one of the realm is the Aishwarya manifested Vaikunta where Vishnu resides, and then we also have Ayodhya where Lord Rama resides. And then we have called Krishna's abode. So, and then within the Krishna's abode, we have Dwaraka and Mathura. And within Mathura, you have two divisions again there. One is the city of Mathura, and then there is Gokula or Vraja. Now, going back to the Brahma Samhita description, where it talks about an yantra in the second verse, third verse, and even the first verse also talks about an yantra. So that yantra is basically the abode of the Lord. And what it says is that you have a lotus, and in the lotus, in the center, Krishna is situated, and around the lotus petals are the gopis situated. So basically, this is all, the whole thing together is called Gokula or Vraja. That Gokula is where all the cowherds live, including the gopis, including Radharani, including Krishna. That whole lotus is called Gokula. And that manifests in the material world also. like in near to Delhi, we have Vrindavana. So that manifests there, though we may not be able to witness it with our material eyes. We may visit that place, but we may not see the eternal pastimes of the Lord happening there, but it is happening there. But it is not part of the material world. Though it manifests in the material world, it is not part of the material world. It belongs to the spiritual world. So there is a lotus. And outside the lotus, there is a square, okay, in the yantra. So in that square is what is called Goloka or Shweta Dvipa. So this
Could you share on the chart and point and tell
that
Prabhuji?
chart is not very clear, Mataji. I couldn't get a very good resolution online, probably because of copyright issue. They didn't put it out, I guess.
But with your explanations, actually, we could be able to actually, understand, Prabhuji, what you were saying. The last time we have seen the chart already, right? So, yeah, please. Yeah.
The chart is not so clear, but you have a square, and
Yes.
within that square you have a circle. Think of like that, and that circle is what lotus, and then the outside, the remaining portions of the square is called the Shweta Dvipa or Goloka. Now, the Shweta Dvipa or the outside part of the Goloka is where multiple things are there. So, according to the author of Chaitanya Bhagavat, who is somebody remembers the author of Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur. So, according to Vrindavan Das Thakur, it is where Krishna's Navadvipa is also located. And according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and according to Mukunda, it is also the place where an Aishwarya aspect of Gokula or Vrindavan is located. So there is Gokula inside, and then there is an Aishwarya aspect of that Gokula that is also situated there. Sometimes the place in the spiritual world, the whole place is called Goloka, and the place that is manifested of the Vrindavan, the Gokula, from the spiritual world to the material world, that material plane is referred to as Gokula. Why? Because only the Gokula portion from the spiritual world manifests here. And therefore, they refer to this as Gokula and that as Goloka because it covers the whole thing. It's Goloka. But Gokula is also present there, as we see in the center circle. That is the Gokula. And then the outside part, that's the Shweta Deepa. And that is also called, the outside part alone is also called Goloka, or the whole thing is also called Goloka. That's why you will see confusing. Sometimes we get confused by reading these different descriptions. And both Goloka and Gokula are same. Why? Because this Gokula is also present there. There is no difference. And when Gopakumar was living in Gokula, in the Golok, in the spiritual abode above there, which we can call it as a Goloka, sometimes he comes to Gokula in material plane, where Krishna's manifest, sometimes pastimes here. He comes there and then he goes there. He just goes back and forth, but it is the same place. He realizes why this Gokula and that Goloka, when he's referring to that, it is the Gokula within that Goloka. It's all the same place. What we are going to read here is...
So, Prabhuji, before you go to the next step, I have a small question, like, in the square part, you are saying Aishwarya Gokula, which is called as Goloka. In the square part.
The square part, the names are, maybe you can say that, overlapping, right? So the outside part is called Goloka.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the whole thing is also called Goloka.
Okay, but in between part is Gokula. Where
in
is
between the Gokula and the outside part, you have the opulent manifestation of Gokula is also present.
So there, Krishna, Gopis, Radha, and all will also be there, or in the only Gokula part, in between the
In the
Kamal?
Gokula, you have the Madhurya. That is not Madhurya, I mean like the sweetness. Madhurya, don't confuse it with Madhurya Rasa. Again, Madhurya means sweetness and Madhurya means Madhurya Rasa. Sometimes we confuse it like that. So similarly here, the Gokula is also called the outer portion or the whole portion, overlapping definitions. Within that Gokula, you have Krishna, Radha, and all the associates. And in the outside part, which is there is a manifestation of opulent Aishwarya Goloka. There also you have Krishna, Radha, and all of the associates, but with Aishwarya. They are not worshipped like how you worship there in the Gokula. This aspect has more Aishwarya.
Oh, okay. So what kind of pastimes would be going on?
That is not described. What kind of pastimes
Because
are
in
going on?
Gokula, as per your explanations, wonderful explanations, Gokula, I can understand Coward Boys pastimes and Radha Gopis pastimes, Nanda Maharaj Yashodamaya pastimes, all will be existing. And the outside of that,
Outside part is where actually it is described even in the 10th canto, which Vishwanath Chakravarti will also quote today. We will see that. The 10th canto, when as I was telling, the pastime of Nanda Maharaj arresting, Nanda Maharaj getting arrested by Varuna, servant, Krishna goes there and retrieves Nanda Maharaj from there. And then they all want to see Krishna's abode. And then Krishna shows to them. Krishna takes all of them to Brahma Hruda, at the lake of Brahma. Then there, he dips them and then he shows them the opulent, the Aishwarya Goloka. And there, the Vedas are glorifying Krishna. And all the associates were also present there. But what kind of pastimes are going on, that's not very clearly mentioned.
Right. But same personalities will be there.
Same personalities, but more or less like they will be worshipped in Aishwarya. And who will reach there, that place, that will also be described here. But to give you a summary, those who are following the path of Raganuga, they will reach Gokula.
Center part.
Center. And then the Aishwarya Goloka is reached by people who worship Radha Krishna, but with Aishwarya. That means they are not following the path of Raganuga. They'll reach that outer path. But if you worship just Krishna with the Aishwarya aspect, not Radha Krishna, just Krishna alone, then you can go to Dwaraka.
So where is Dwaraka is located then?
So that's not also mentioned because where is all this? There is Krishna's abode, and within that you have Dwaraka and Mathura. But in the Brahma Samhita verse, it is not actually showing where is Dwaraka located in all these places, right? But Krishna's abode, you can think there is Krishna's abode, and within that part of that you have Dwaraka and Mathura, and within Mathura you have Gokula and the city of Mathura, like that.
So within the part Gokula and Madhurapuri, right? City of Mathura. What is that city of Mathura? Again, Aishwarya only, right? It should be.
City of Mathura is the Mathura itself. What we see.
Krishna is born.
Yes, correct.
Kamsa.
Yes. City of Mathura.
Very nice. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You have clarified so many things. Thank you so much.
Any other questions before we proceed further? Okay. So we'll now, with this understanding, we'll again read Mukunda's commentary as well as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. I will skip the quotations here just so that we can understand the statements here alone to grasp the essence here. Why? So first again here it is mentioned Anyeshu Punyatirteshu Muktihi Eva Mahapalam. In other Punyatirthas, you can go to many other Punyatirthas in this world, but you get Mukti as the greatest fruit they can offer to you. Muktaihi Pratyā Harehe Bhakti Mathuraya Mitu Labhyate, but only in Mathura. So this Mathura is where you will see that even the people who are liberated, they pray for getting bhakti over there in Mathura. They can get bhakti, which is greater than mukti. Trivargada Kaminam. So for those who have materialistic desires, they get the dharma, artha, kama. All these desires are fulfilled. Mukshunamcha mokshada. But those who are desiring for moksha, it also gives. So it gives materialistic, it fulfills materialistic desires. It gives you moksha, and then it gives you bhakti as well, Mathura. Bhakti choho bhaktida. For those who desire bhakti, it gives bhakti. So which foolish person will not take shelter of Mathura? Aho Madhupuri Dhanya Vaikunta cha Gariyasi. So Madhupuri, that Mathura is greater than Vaikunta. That is what is mentioned. So here we will later see this Vaikunta is not referring to the Vaikunta where Vishnu is located. This Vaikunta is referring to Goloka. So this Mathura is actually glorious than the Goloka, the outer portion of that pericarp, outer portion of that lotus we were looking at. Why? Because it has sweetness aspect. This again, when we talk about Mathura, we have within that two things are there: the Mathura city part and the Gokula, the village part. Village part is where Krishna's sweetness is exhibited with the Vrajavasis. Dinamekam nivasena haro bhakta prajayate. Okay. Now going here, Vaikuntat, Goloka Akyat. So he clearly says Vaikunta means here the Vaikuntat. Because of Sandhi, it became Vaikuntach, but it is Vaikuntat. Vaikuntat, Goloka Akyat. That means that is Goloka it is referring to. Shri Krishnasya Vaikuntat. So that is the Krishna's Vaikunta. That is not Vishnu's Vaikunta. Golokasya Gokula Vaibhavatvam Darshayadbihi etam shlokam. So this is showing Goloka, the Gokula's Vaibhava. That is the Goloka aspect as the Gokula's Aishwarya manifestation. That is what this verse is also showing. Evam Saptapurinam cha iti udahritya Vaikuntat Golokat iti Vyakhya Granthakritbhihi eva Bhagavatamrite darshita asti. So the author Rupa Goswami himself has written in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. What he has written in Laghu Bhagavatamrita? Goloka nama syat cha Gokula Vaibhavam. Goloka is nothing but the Aishwarya manifestation of Gokula. It has written in the work called Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which was written by Rupa Goswami again. Again, he quotes Brahma Samhita to show what is that Goloka. It's filled with opulence and reverence, and which is where all the desired trees are present. And then, the water is like a nectar. All the Aishwarya aspects are prominent. Again, of course, all the trees in Vrindavan is also a good desired tree, but that's not the emphasis there. Here is the emphasis where the trees are desired trees and the water is like nectar and everything everywhere is Chintamani. All the dust are Chintamani like that. Okay, so we will skip some of the part which are not relevant for us in this particular context. So he quotes multiple places to show, he quotes the Dhana Keli Kaumudi and so on to show that the Goloka is an Aishwarya aspect of the Gokula. Okay. Okay, so here he says, Mathura. What is Mathura? Mathura is Mathura Mandalam that consists of Gokula Rupam. So you have the village part and you have the Pura Rupam, city part. So you have two things. Mathuram cha dvida prahu gokulam puramevacha. So every sentence he gives, he actually quotes from Rupa Goswami to say that I am not just simply concocting something. The author has himself written like that. Again, so in this verse in Upadeshamrita, verse number 9, you are saying Vaikunta Janitaha Vara Madhupuri. Here he says Vaikuntat means the Goloka. So Mathura is greater than Goloka, the Aishwarya manifestation. Why? Because there the Gokula is present. You have Krishna's Vrindavan is present, the sweetest aspect. Okay. So here it says, Goloke Shri Krishnena Tat Parikaraihi. So he, with Krishna along with his associates in Goloka, so he performs pastimes. What are all the pastimes he does not perform? Rasa Dana Dirilam Vina. So he performs pastimes other than Rasa Leela and in the whatever the Leelas mentioned in the Dana Kelika movie, all these leelas, which are very, very sweetest aspect, those he does not perform, but he performs other pastimes. So even though he performs other pastimes, he says, tat leela karane apina tatha spurtihi. The Krishna you are going to get there, he does not manifest there the sweetness that he manifests in Vrindavana. The Krishna manifests in general sweetness, but the sweetness manifested by Krishna in Aishwarya Goloka is not the same sweetness he is going to manifest in the Vrindavan or the Gokula part. Okay, that is going to be different, and that is what is witnessed by Gopakumar also in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Vishnu in Vaikuntha also manifests the pastimes of Krishna just for Gopakumar. But then he does not get the same sweetness. You see, only in Gokula, when Krishna manifests that sweetness, you get that sweetness, a specific sweetness. Outside he manifests, you don't get that. And he gives a whole quotation to show that how Gopakumar was also not so much satisfied there, even though the Krishna's pastimes were manifested. So some of the Gokula's pastimes were also manifested in Aishwarya Goloka, but you don't get the same sweetness. Okay. All right. So we will jump now to Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary on verse 303. Okay. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Esham tu Vrindavane Radha Krishnayoho Madhurya Aswadane Abhilashaha Atacha Nyasa Mudradi Vaidimargena Anusarena Bhajanam Tesham Dwarakayamna Rukminikantasya Praptihi Tatra Abhilasha Abhavat. So he says that you are desiring for Radha Krishna. And then you want Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. He says, Vrindavane Radha Krishna Yoho Madhurya Aswadane. You are desiring the sweetness that Radha and Krishna exhibit in Vrindavan, the core Vrindavan, the Gokula. But then how you are worshipping? Atacha Nyasa Mudradi Vaidhimargena Anusarena Bhajanam. But you are performing in the Vaidhi path. Vaidhi Bhakti. You are not following the Raganuga path, you are following the Vaidhi path. In the Vaidhi path, you do Nyasas, Mudras, all these things, but you have to skip those things in Raganuga path, the Nyasas and Mudras, especially in the deity worship. But you are performing the Vaidhi Bhakti. But then what will happen? Tesham Dwarakayamna Rukminikantasya Praptihi. You are not going to go to Dwaraka because you are worshipping Vaidhi Bhakti. By worshipping Vaidhi Bhakti, what people in general think is, we'll go to Dwaraka. If you follow Raganuga Bhakti, you will go to Gokula or Vrindavan. He says, no, because you are desiring for Radha and Krishna, the sweetness of Vrindavan. But then you are not going to get Rukmini and Krishna, because that is not your object of desire. You are desiring Radha and Krishna. But your path is also different, not Raganuga path. Your path is Vaidhi path. What is going to happen to them? Nava Vrindavane Shri Radha Krishna Yoho Praptihi Raga Margena Bhajana Abhavat. You are not going to get Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, the Gokula also. Why? Because you are not following Raga Marga. Raga Margena Bhajana Abhavat. The bhajan you are performing in Raga Marga, that is missing. So you are not doing that. So you are not going to get that also. You are not going to get Krishna and Radha in Gokula. You are also not going to get Rukmini Krishna, because Rukmini Krishna is not what you are desiring. You are desiring for Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan. Tasmat, therefore, Tesham Vidhimargena Bhajana Karyasya Aishwarya Jnanasya Pradhanyam Yatra Yathabudasya Vrindavanasya Angshe Goloke Radha Krishna Yoho Praptihi. Because when you are worshipping in Vaidhi Marga, you are aware Krishna is God, Radharani is goddess. That awareness is present, going to be continuously present. But in Vrindavan, the Gokula, that awareness is not there. So because you are cultivating this awareness continuously in your bhakti, what is going to happen is you are going to go to this Aishwarya Goloka, which is a Vrindavanasya Angsha, that Gokula's manifestation. It is the Goloka. There you will obtain Radha and Krishna. You will obtain Radha and Krishna only, but in Aishwarya Goloka, Radha Krishna yoho praptihi. Na tu Shuddhamadharyamaye Vrindavane iti ngeyam. You are not going to get that Vrindavan or Gokula, which is the sweet, the pure sweetness is present. There you are not going to get. Goloke Shri Vrindavanasya Angshatvam. So this Goloka is an Angsha or expansion of Gokula or Vrindavan. Shri Prabhuvaraihi Rupa Goswami Charanaihi Stavamalayam Upashlokitam. So Rupa Goswami himself has mentioned this in Stavamala in his verse. Sagacha Shlokaha Yata Nanda Apaharane. So that shloka is also talking about the arresting of Nanda Maharaj by Varuna. So let's just read this particular verse. Lokaha Ramyaha Kaha Api Vrinda Atavitaha. So what place is there in, this is from Stavamala, okay? So it says, what can be a beautiful place than the forest of Vrindavan? Nasti Kwapi, there is nothing like that. Anjasa Bandhuvargam Vaikuntam Yaha Shushtu Sandarsha Bhoyaga Koshtam Ninye. So he says that he taking all his the associates, and then he showed them Vaikunta. And then he showed Vaikunta and then brought them back to Goloka. So as we previously saw, this Vaikunta is not referring to the Vaikunta of Vishnu. This Vaikunta is Goloka. That is the Aishwarya Goloka. So here he says, Atra Vaikunta Patam Krishna Vaikunta Goloka Parameva. So this is that Aishwarya Goloka. This is Krishna Vaikunta. This is not Vishnu's Vaikunta. This is the Goloka. This is the Aishwarya Goloka we are talking about. That Krishna, may he protect you. That's what he says. This is a verse from Stavamala. Now here. Yataha Vrindavanasya Madhurya Utkarsha Darshanartam Bandhuvarganam Gopanam Krishna Vaikunte Goloke Shri Krishna Prerita Gamanam Dashame Varanitam. So he says that just to show to his associates who are in Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and all the associates, that what the place you are in, that is the most sweetest place. To show that, he is showing them that this Aishwarya Goloka. But they look at Aishwarya Goloka with so much fanciness. Wow, so much attractiveness is there, so much opulence is there. But then I say, oh, we are not getting the same sweetness of Krishna. And then they just come back to, no, we want this place only. And then they are going back to their regular work. So they like back again in Vrindavan only. Just to show that aspect, Krishna has performed this entire pastime. Okay. Atra Brahmanaha Narakriti Parabrahmanaha Shri Krishnasya Lokam Golokam Eva. So here the Krishna's Loka, that is the Goloka, is what is mentioned. Natu Rama Vaikuntam. This is not the place where Lakshmi is present. That is not the Vishnu's Vaikunta. Okay. Purvatra Somlokam Ityatra Swasya Shri Krishnasya Lokam Iti Vyakyaya Rama Vaikuntesya Krishna Lokatva Abhavat. Tata Krishnancha Tatra Chandobhi Stuyamanam Ityuktya Rama Vaikunte Krishna Leelaya Asambhavat Cha. So here in this Aishwarya Goloka, the Vedas are glorifying Krishna. So if you look at it and go back to Brahma Samhita, in the Brahma Samhita it is mentioned, here you have the middle circle, that is the lotus, that is Gokula. Outside this Gokula, in the Goloka portion, you have the Vedas present. So these Vedas which are present, they are glorifying Krishna in the Aishwarya Goloka. That is what here also he says. What he says, Chandobi Stuyamananam. Chandas here means Vedas. Vedas are glorifying that Krishna there. And this is what is given in the 10th canto pastime as well. That Krishna was present and all the people were saying that, Krishna is being praised by the Vedas personified. Chandobi Stuyamanam Suvishhtamaha. So let's just look at this particular verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we will stop it at that. Let me share my other screen. This is the chapter which talks about Krishna rescues Nanda Maharaj from the abode of Varuna. And then you have the 17th verse. Nandadayastu tam drishtva paramananda nivritaha krishnancha tatra chandobhihi stuyamanam subhishmitaha. Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men felt the greatest happiness when they saw that transcendental abode. They were especially amazed to see Krishna himself there, surrounded by the Vedas, personified Vedas, who are offering him prayers. So the personified Vedas are offering prayers to Krishna. So that is not Vaikuntha, that's not Vishnu present there. That's Krishna only is present there. So that part is specifically called Aishwarya Goloka. So we'll stop at this. Any question, any comment, any objection?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandal Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So just to make it very, so much with clarification and all that. So Gokula I understand, and outside Goloka Aishwarya I understood, Prabhuji. So is it the right understanding that if whoever connects Krishna with the different rasas, like Vatsalya, Sakhya, and Dasya and Madhurya, they will be residing in the particular in the sweet dham of abode of Gokula, and whoever are not connected in that way, they will be outside of Goloka. Is that the right understanding?
So they will be connected in one of the rasas, even outside, even in Vaikuntha also, people are connected in Dasya rasa. So people are always connected with Krishna in some or the other rasa. If a person does not have any rasa, he will be situated in the Brahman. So there is always rasa is there wherever Krishna is there in different avatars. But specifically in the Gokula, you would see that devotees with other rasas are also present. Like you have Sakya rasa, and then you have Vatsalya rasa, and then you have Madhurya rasa. Other places you would see predominantly Dasya rasa is present, but in this specific place you would see other rasas are also present. Regarding Aishwarya Goloka, that's not mentioned. Why it is mentioned that all the associates are present, but then it is not mentioned when the Vaidhi Bhakta goes there, what kind of relationship he is going to have with Krishna. Not much detail is given.
Mostly we can understand Dasya Rasa, right?
I do not know because all the associates means you have Nanda Maharaj, everybody should be there.
All the personalities is there, I understand, Prabhu, but every rasa has its own sweetness, right? Since that the Gokula is particularly, about the sweetness of rasa, so every rasa, not only Madhuri rasa, but even Dasya rasa, parental affection, Vatsalya, and Sakhya also having some kind of sweetness, right? That is what I am actually.
Sweetness is there in all the things, but here we are specifically there. Like for example, you have Vasudeva and Devaki in Dwaraka. And then you have Arjuna in Sakyarasa. Even in Dwaraka, you have all these rasas present.
Yeah. Yes, but there is some difference in sweetness. That's what.
Yes, difference in sweetness will be there. There in the Gokula, you will have the most sweetest aspect experienced by the sweetest devotees. This he speaks again in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, that is the specifics of Gokula, where the sweetest devotees are present and with their sweetest rasa.
Now I understand, Prabhu. The sweetness
Gradation.
Gradation of sweetness. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. I understand now. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you for further clarifying this session, Prabhu. Because last time you left us a little confused about Gokula and Golaka. It was a little better understanding today. Yeah, I was checking with another devotee because I was still pondering on this, and then another devotee said that he was quoting the Brahma Samhita verses, and clearly saying that okay, the Gokula is this the mundane Gokula they're mentioning, and then the spiritual one is called the Goloka. And as you mentioned today, that the entire planet is also called Goloka, and sometimes it is referred to, also to this Aishwarya portion also. So since we're clearly saying all the time Aishwarya Goloka with a prefix Aishwarya, which means that just when we say Goloka, it might be little misleading, and people will refer to the center portion, which we call as Gokula as per these verses. So so when because these things were not brought up by Prabhupada or any other devotee during the Ralma Prabhupada. So when we are talking to devotees, is it safer to refer to Goloka and then and then we can the Shvetadvi portion, which is also referred to the Vaikunta, we can call it the Aishwarya portion of the Goloka. So to avoid further, how would it be?
I don't know. I mean, see, whether Prabhupada hasn't mentioned about these things anywhere. I would have to go back and read all his purports and conversations to see that. To refer to
Like
it,
Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur in Brahma Samhita versus Parapitandal, we
Bhakti
read, right?
Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also talks
Sindhu.
about it. He talks about this aspect, Gokula, Goloka, Aishwarya manifestation of Gokula, Goloka, Navadip, everything he talks about it. It's just that the English is very difficult for us to understand. So it becomes. But I read today about his
Prefix to the
commentary.
Gokula is always mundane. He is
Hmm?
using the prefix mundane Gokula. He's using the prefix as mundane Gokula. So
Mundane,
it
that's what I
refers to
said.
the Gokula
Again, he is
created
quoting from
material world.
multiple, correct. He is quoting from multiple acharyas. He quotes Jiva Goswami, he quotes Sanatana Goswami, he quotes Rupa Goswami, right? All of them he quotes. And then when he quotes the Sanatana Goswami's point, he is actually quoting that point. So if you go back and read Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there you will see that he specifically emphasizes the aspect that Gokula is referring to the mundane Gokula, and then the or not mundane Gokula, the mundane realm, Gokula in the mundane realm, and then you have Goloka in there. That's why I said when you are reading different acharyas, they are putting emphasis on different aspects. That's why the names sometimes may be overlapping. Again, there itself, Sanatana Goswami clarifies that this Gokula is present there, and which is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has also mentioned. If you little bit read deeply there, he says tri-quadrant. This, though it looks like this Gokula is here, but it is present in the tri-quadrant. What is the tri-quadrant? The three-part Vibhuti, which is the spiritual realm. The material realm is one part Vibhuti. So he mentions this Gokula, even though it is in the mundane plane, then he says it is also part of the tripart quadrant of that, which is like the spiritual realm. It is little difficult to extract that out, as I mentioned. Here in Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary and Mukunda's commentary, it is a little bit more made it explicit. But when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was writing commentary, he quotes all these different acharyas, but then he definitely mentions these things.
Thank you very much,
Prabhu.
Gurji,
And
for such
Like,
a beautiful explanation. I can say it's really nourishing and at the same time hope giving.
oh, thank you, Prabhuji.
That we will someday attain that sweeter aspect of Gokul.
Sweet of Gokul.
Goloka is not the target. Our target is Gokul.
Gokul, yes, Prabhuji.
That Gokul is actually available here as in this Bhoma Vrindavan as well.
No.
So, I mean, I have read this many times in Vishwanath Thakur's commentary that, or even I think Prabhupada's explanation that Gokul that we see in Vrindavan is actually what we are aspiring for. So this is more explicitly visible here in this explanation that you did give today.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that makes actually more sense that how Garga Samhita, whatever pastimes of Radha Krishna are mentioned there is more filled with Aishwarya, probably referring to Gokul, not Gokul, but it's actually referring to Goloka.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, only thing is a little confusing is that what kind of costumes are performed in the Aishwarya Gokula. Same personalities are existing. Of course, one example you have told that Nanda Maharaja was caught by Varuna. That you explained. But other than that, what kind of, because rasa everywhere it exists as per your explanations. Gradation is there definitely, more sweetness, but the same personalities, right? So how the rasa changes, like, if the one rasa is existed between the associates and Krishna, the same sweetness should be there actually every time. But how does
The Radha becomes Lakshmi in Vaikunta.
Yes, sir, but that is a different planet completely, Vaikunta. But here the
But
Goloka.
Radha is only becoming like Lakshmi Devi there, right?
Ah,
Similarly, when the associates also expand, they expand according to the mood of Krishna to different locations.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So their sweetness also changes.
Yes, yeah. Depending on the leelas, yes, yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you also, Shankaranda Prabhu, for sharing. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, devotees. So we'll stop here. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and thank you, Shankaran Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. We'll continue next week. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कौर वैष्णव की जय. Hare Krishna.